Let's Go Racing Family podcast, sharing our love for NASCAR, running, and just racing through life.
Hosted by Sebastian, Giovanni, Karen, Tony, and me, Johan.
Each week we'll talk about our view of the world through the lens of racing.
Welcome back to the Let's Go Racing Family podcast. Here we are at Las Vegas for the Pennzoil 400. We're coming to 10 to go now. Kyle Busch is our current leader. Martin Truex Jr. in second. Ross Chastain in third. Alex Bowman in fourth. And Willie Byron in fifth.
And then just for our listeners, they're coming up on lap traffic. So Kyle Busch is kind of having to weave his way through it all.
He's going with a higher line. I'm not sure how that's going to pay off. But Truex is right on him. He's so close.
Come on, Kyle, hold it off for 10 more laps, man.
I just think it's crazy that he's only won here one time before.
It's only one?
Yeah, he has won, but only once before, which is
What's
wild.
even crazier is that the car that he's driving yesterday was a hollow backup car with nothing in it. No engine,
Oh, that's
no
right.
Didn't even have
painting,
wrapping
no
on it.
seat, nothing. And now he's leading. He had to start at the back because it's clearly a backup car because he wrecked it yesterday in practice. And he started in the back and is now leading the race.
He
They
also
basically
got
built it.
involved in a crash earlier. He spun out.
Yeah, there were a lot more wrecks early in the race. And yes, he was part of one of them, right? Did get a lot of damage, obviously, if he's up there leading with 8 to go.
The one of Ross Chastain laps ago was in the lead. He was leading these cars by a lot, and he was doing really, really well. So
For a majority of the race, he was doing well.
yeah, for the majority of the race, he's been up there. He's currently in third with almost 3 seconds behind, which is a lot actually because he had a fast car. So I don't know what's happened to him. Right now, it's basically the two Joe Gibbs cars of Kyle Busch and Martin Truex that are battling for the win.
7 to go. Oh, Truex. Oh, that looked like he got much closer.
And
there.
they're both pulling away because the seconds keep getting further and further apart from them two back.
No,
here
I
we
think he
go.
might make
Oh.
it.
Truex has a run.
Is it going
But
to
I
be enough, though? No,
Kyle
Kyle's
Busch
going to be
has
able to hold
the
it.
preferred line.
Ooh.
Now, for those of you that are actually watching our podcast on YouTube, I would be remiss, and even those that are listening, you haven't heard Johan, but if you're watching, I would be remiss not to address the fact that we don't have our youngest member of the family. He's actually out today. He actually had a special field trip with school to go see a Broadway show at our local
Performing Arts
Performing
Center.
Arts
the
Center.
Dr. Phillips Performing Arts
Yeah.
Center. Yeah. So
So-
he went to go see Frozen live. He's actually going to be in the Frozen production at his school. So
For
they got
school.
invited.
Yeah. So he's not here with us this week. So we're going to try to hold things off for him. But with 5 to go, Kyle Busch still leading his teammate, Martin Truex Jr., with 0.3 of a second separating them.
You know what I'm always impressed by? The fact that Kyle Busch and other drivers can go up to the wall and drive so close to it. Whenever
Right?
I'm driving on any racing game, I'm always scared I'm going to just hit the wall. And these guys go so close to it. It's like
There's
they're
been
gonna
a couple
slide up.
times where if you've seen my face go, it's because Kyle Busch is practically kissing the wall.
Yeah, he gets real close to it. But he's definitely using that, I think, for a bit of speed advantage and airflow.
Yeah, and Truex is definitely going low because he knows if he tries to go up high, Kyle has
One
the
wrong move.
momentum.
Ooh.
And as the laps tick down, I mean, clearly the Joe Gibbs cars are super strong today. Denny Hamlin is nowhere to be found because a few laps before he got caught up. Or actually,
No,
he caused his
he
own
caused
wreck.
it.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, here we go. We're gonna
caution's out.
Oh,
No, it
Or
hasn't
no,
been thrown
no, it
yet.
hasn't been thrown.
But I wouldn't be
Oh.
surprised if it does.
they're not
it
going
is
to call. There
so-
it is.
there it is.
There it is.
There
And
it
he's
is.
around.
So
Oh,
that's
whoa,
Bubba.
Jones lost control,
No, he's not. No.
spun out,
Into the
Oh,
safety
oh.
barrier.
and
Oh,
Bubba
and
just
took
wrecked
out.
into the inner wall.
So explain it, run it back for our listeners. What just
So
happened?
the 43 of Eric Jones lost it. We just saw him spinning, or actually, it looked like he cut a tire or something. And then he just spun up the track
And unfortunately, Bubba Wallace was trying to pass by, and Jones's car, I think, slid up or down, and got Bubba was just not in the right spot and ended up.
Okay, so we're
spinning
watching
around.
the replay here. Here's Eric Jones in 8th place.
He just lost
he
it.
just
He
lost
lost
the
it,
tire, I
smacked into
think.
the wall. I think he cut a tire. He went into the wall, started, mowing the grass, and then just
Yeah, and
I
then look at that. His tire locked up, and then
continued to mow the
that's it.
grass, and then spun out.
Yeah,
And-
just
oh,
another
Bubba.
tire.
Bubba barely
Bubba
touched
was-
him too.
Bubba wrong. He was just at the.
Oh,
he
wow.
was just coming in, and he couldn't stop
The
himself. Lost
safety
control.
car was pulling out and had to stop because Bubba came flying down.
I didn't see that much damage on Bubba, and I think it shows these cars are a lot more reinforced because, something from last year, had they hit that safer barrier, the entire front end would have exploded, and
Yeah.
it didn't.
Yeah.
It's still intact.
And what's sad is he was running top 15 there. So we'll see if he's able to get that
look at
car
that.
going. But
that front is not even
Yeah,
well,
that
it's,
damaged.
there's still
There's a little.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
never mind.
He's tearing
Yeah,
up
he's
the
ripped up.
front
Yeah,
now with
these
his tire.
tires.
Oh, those. Oh.
Oh, wow.
now it's getting worse.
Wow.
Okay, so the entire, the front side of his right front tire
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
And
Oh.
Samantha Busch is just
Samantha
freaking
Busch
out.
they're
is.
showing the replay.
She's like, get off the track, get off the track.
Get off the track.
Oh, and that's when they call
yeah.
the caution.
because she knows now what
It's
looked
pit
like
game.
Kyle Busch was driving away with the win. Now they're going to have to do
Now it's going to be close again.
overtime
Yeah.
restart.
So going back to Bubba's car, the right front tire just tore up that side of the car. The pieces of the car were just coming off as he
They're just getting
was
ripped up by it.
rolling by. Yeah,
That's really
so
unfortunate.
that's a shame. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a green-white checkered here. Kyle Busch and Truex. I think the question is whether anybody's going to come in to get tires and some fuel.
And
Looks
could
like
this-
Looks like
they're
the-
getting ready.
Yeah, it looks like is that Truex's
Yeah.
pit crew?
Yeah, and so is
Yeah,
Kyle's.
they're definitely
It
coming
looks
in.
like they're going to be coming in for tires and some gas.
This is big for everyone. Now,
Which is crazy. You really think
field
they're going to
condition.
come in right before
Oh,
overtime?
yeah.
Kyle Busch, Martin
Yeah, the
Truex Jr.
tires.
Oh my
they've been
word!
saying this throughout
Okay.
the race that the tire wear has been so so dramatic that when you get new fresh set of tires, it makes a huge difference.
My concern was if anybody who was on the lead lap would stay out to try to get that first place.
Yeah, but if enough cars came in, like has happened, if you stay out, you'd be a
Yeah,
sitting
you're
duck
gonna be
with
a
those
sitting
tires.
I mean, we
duck.
saw
But those
earlier what
sitting
happened with
ducks are
Michael McDowell because he
dangerous.
didn't go in.
Though, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But those sitting ducks are dangerous because
Yeah,
they
I
can
mean,
cause
we had that happen early. I mean,
problems. yeah.
what's his name in the
Okay.
34?
Oh,
they're
and
coming out.
Kyle Larson.
Larson, how did Larson
Bowman,
come
is
out?
now-
Byron.
Bush,
Busch,
ooh, he looked a little bit
Chastain,
fast. I'm worried he's
Truex.
going to get a
Kyle
penalty.
Kyle
Busch
Busch
lost
lost
everyone
three
fast.
spots.
And Larson got 5.
Unbelievable.
Right. We still have the choose rule coming in play, I think. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
This is not this is not what Kyle Busch and Samantha Busch were hoping for. I mean,
and
the
this
guy
is why
was leading.
this is why she was throwing her hands up in the air in disbelief, because after this anything can happen.
Now you've got 3 Hendrick cars ahead of Kyle Busch.
Ross Chastain
Ross
is also up
Chastain
there.
ran
Tyler
right
Reddick.
behind him, and Tyler Reddick, and
then
then
Chase
you've got
Elliott.
Truex Jr.
Chase Elliott's behind Chastain, I think.
Wow, this is wow. And the other thing that I think is amazing is that I haven't really thought that Kyle Larson's had a great day. I mean, there was at one point they thought the car was, I think I'd even hit the wall.
I was going to say
and-
there's one point where it looked like he hit the wall, and then another one where he lost the car, he lost
Yeah.
control of his car, and we thought he was going to smack the wall and be
And
out, but he saved it. And
here he is.
they made a comment about, that he's been driving on dirt tracks so much that he's able to control the car when it loses control like that. But-
Green, white checker to go. Here he is leading the race.
so we have Larson in first, Bowman in second, Byron in third. Oh, 300 cars right there. Fourth, Kyle Busch. Fifth, Ross Chastain. And then Truex, who was in
Johan
second,
would be
is now
excited
in
if he got to see 300 cars all of a sudden up at the front. We'll see. We'll see if Kyle Busch has anything left. I just think three 300 cars lined up. I mean, that's going to be a tall
That's
order.
a
But
tough,
he's had
tough battle.
so far one of the fastest cars all day. So
And again, coming from like basically they had to build that whole thing up from
yeah,
nothing, and it's impressive to see what they could do with such little time.
I do have to say with this race, this has been one that is unexpected with how like chaotic it's been.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure half of the field has either spun out or got involved in someone else spinning out.
yeah. I mean, let's just talk real quick. I was trying to say earlier, you had mentioned about staying out on tires and becoming a sitting duck. I mean, that's what was going on earlier on the race with the 34. He basically stayed out during one of the cautions and did not have the kind of car to be up front and got loose, which ended up hitting
Well, he fell back several spots before he lost
yeah.
control because clearly he didn't have tires to keep up with all these drivers who had the tires. So he was starting to fall back, and then he fell back into like the teens, which is where he messed it all up for.
Yeah, and the 34 star we're talking about is McDowell, and basically he lost a little bit of his car, ran up the lane. Briscoe in
Hit
the
Briscoe.
14 got tapped, and so as he tried to overcorrect, Briscoe ended up taking out the 99 and Daniel Suarez. And Daniel Suarez, he ended up falling back because he had a pit crew issue. They jumped the wall too early, so they got penalized.
And he was working his way back up.
And he was working his way back up. He was in the teens. He had one of the fastest cars. I mean, Chastain is in 5th right now and has been up at the front, led at one point the most laps. So the Suarez had a good car under him.
That'd be pretty impressive for a Trackhouse dub.
And yeah, it would be. It would be. And honestly, I still thought Suarez was going to be the first, but obviously,
unfortunately, got
Chastain
collected in.
is the only one that has a chance today because Suarez got collected and he's out of the race. He's going to finish last.
That's why
because of McDowell and
the Hendrick drivers got.
They
two
all
tires.
went for 2, while everyone else went for 4.
That's why.
They
Oh,
jumped
okay.
up. Well, then we're gonna see. We're gonna see how much of a difference the tires are going to make on a very short run here because it's basically 3 laps to go. So we'll see if that does make a big difference or not.
Also, there's like tape on the front of Kyle Larson's car. Did you guys see that?
Is that? I was about to ask. Is that debris that's on his car, or is it tape that's lifting up from his car?
I'd
I
have
think
to
that's
see it again.
debris. Because that doesn't look like it's supposed to be there.
I mean, but did it come off? Because I was going to say, you think he'd get close to the pace car and try to make it fly off.
He's not even near the pace car, though. No, it's still there.
Out of the drivers up there, who do you think's gonna win this?
You can't vote against the defending champion. I mean, he's up there. He had no business being up there, and when it comes down to the money lap, here he is finding himself at the very front. So I don't know. I mean, I would have to say Larson.
I don't
Really?
know.
With 2 tires? Nah, I don't. I think the Hendricks cars might be outrun.
I
by
mean, you
the
still
other
have
cars
those
that
2
have-
weak tires.
And who knows? I mean, we've been seeing a lot of tires. People cutting tires down. So we don't know what condition those 2 tires are. The older tires are.
Well,
in.
here's the fact that I'll use to back up my claim. They just put a stat up on the screen. Kyle Larson's won 5 of the last 7 Cup Series races. So that's the reason why I'm saying Kyle Larson. Has he had the strongest car today? No. Has he had, the most dominant Hendrick cars? Have they been the most dominant today? No. But clearly he knows what he needs to do when it comes down to the money lap. So we'll see if this is going to be
Kyle
last
Busch
lap.
knows what he needs to do too when he gets down to the money lap.
All right, choose
Start
your
All right.
pushing cars out of the way.
This is going to be it.
Larson going outside. Bowman
All right.
inside. Byron. All right, so Kyle's going inside, right behind Bowman.
And Chastain goes behind Busch on the inside, while Truex goes behind Byron.
Then we have Reddick and Bell also behind Chastain. And
So
few
the
others.
lights are off on the pace car, which means they're going to take the green, white checkered flag
Are we going to go under more
Green
yellows?
flag
Do you guys
next
think?
lap around? I don't know. I mean, they've been very aggressive. We've got an overtime to go. You know what? I'd have to say, yeah. The way that they've been driving today, I think this is not going to be the only time we see them try to do a green-white checkered.
I think one of those top 3 cars may go spinning with those old tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entire top 3 are all 2 of their tires are old. Like, we don't know which ones.
I'll tell you what, though, Kyle Busch, and I think he's even done it in this race. He is not shy about pulling that car as far down as possible once he gets a little bit of a run. And, I mean, he's got the position to do it, being that he's on the inside lap. So here we go, coming out of, I believe, turn 4. And that pace car is about to make that hard left. And these guys are going to try to...
There it is. It's off the track.
The final green flag. Let's see if this is it. And they are getting up to speed right now.
Here we go, rolling up to the green. Here we go.
By the way, I like Kyle Busch's minty green color scheme.
Yeah, that's a nice scheme. Ooh, Kyle's
All
already
right.
pushing Bowman. Byron's pushing Larson. Here they go.
There you go. Kyle
Kyle's got a
Busch
bit of a
already's got
run.
a little bit of a run, but he backs it off into the turn. 2
Larson
to go.
and Bowman starting to get away.
Martin Truex Jr.'s got a run on the outside. Let's see on the in. Yeah, it's
Bowman's
Hendricks
gonna run,
1,
Kyle.
And
2.
Bowman is in the lead.
And they're starting to
Larson's
pull
coming
away.
on the outside.
Dang, they have really fast cars. Ooh, Larson, did he get into the wall?
I know, he got
I
really
think
close.
this is
These
the white
2 guys are
flag
getting
lap.
really
This
close.
is it, guys.
Oh,
Next,
Kyle Busch.
Here comes
third
Kyle
place.
Busch.
Kyle Busch has got his
He's
run.
gaining
Do it,
some
maybe.
speed.
Did he size it up?
Ooh,
I don't
Kyle
know,
Busch.
guys. Those Hendrick cars look tough.
They're so
They
far
are out
ahead.
front by themselves on the back stretch,
Oh, it's
going
gonna be
into
a
turn
close
3
one
and 4.
to the start
It's
finish line.
Bowman just ahead of Larson.
Ooh, Larson edging ahead. Kyle Busch.
Oh, here comes Chastain.
And it's going to be Bowman to the checkers.
Oh, wow.
That was an
Wow,
unexpected
and
finish.
Chastain takes a
Passes
third.
Kyle Busch for 3rd
Oh
place.
man, what
Wow.
this? I mean, poor Kyle Busch. I mean, I know that sounds crazy to say, but the man was running away with the win.
Yeah.
There's a late caution. You put a Hendrick car up front, and now they're going to victory lane. And then he didn't even finish third. Chastain beat him at the line. So, I mean, that's a great showing. 2 weeks in a row. If you're Team Trackhouse to have 2 cars in the top 4 2 weeks in a row, you've got to be excited about that.
That's awesome.
It shows
It's
consistency.
just
Yeah.
a shame that we couldn't see what Suarez could have,
Yeah.
done today.
Suarez definitely would have had something.
Especially if he was up there with Chastain. I think the 2 could have worked together to, maybe get up front. But there you go. Race winner.
Alex Bowman, the number 48.
I don't want to be the person to have to interview Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that one's gonna be interesting.
That one's going to hurt. It's going to sting because, again, like we said, he wrecked yesterday in practice. He was in a backup car, started last, and worked his way up to
and nearly
first.
won the race.
And had it not been for that last caution, he would have won the race.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was well ahead of his own teammate.
And
So-
and the thing too, for those of you that don't know, this is his hometown track.
Oh,
He's
that's
from
right. Yeah,
Vegas, so the Busch brothers take a lot of pride running well and winning in Vegas. And here he is about to win in his home track, and to have now Alex Bowman celebrating. Oh, now
Oh,
there we
showing-
see Kyle.
He's
They're
not
showing.
happy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be
Unfortunate.
happy either. And Kyle Larson's
I don't blame him.
not happy either. But yeah, there you go. Your winner in Las Vegas. Surprise, because honestly, I don't know if Alex Bowman led any other lap
Mm-mm.
except for the money laps.
Nope, that was it.
No.
That was it right near the end.
Was
So,
he even near the front? I actually do not remember seeing his car.
I don't think so. I
in
think
the
he ran like
front
average for most
as-
of the race.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't see him in the front.
I
throughout
think
the
he
race.
might have run top 10 most of it, but yeah.
But he was definitely far away from the leaders. He wasn't a contender driver.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that white car. I like his paint scheme, so I would have remembered seeing it up there. Again, this was another one of those races. It's been 3 straight races that I have thoroughly enjoyed because we've seen people up there that we don't see. Normally people up there competing with, the top drivers. So again, very entertaining race. It was good. It was a
Yeah.
good race. I liked it. Other than, certain drivers being taken out because of misfortunes of being caught up in accidents of other people like Suarez and Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney got caught up in Brad Keselowski spinning out because he also had bad tires,
Yeah.
old tires. So, that's a shame.
Yeah, we'll have to watch their interviewing Kyle Busch. We can't play it right now, but we'll
Oh.
have to definitely hear what he has to say. He's obviously
He has his
not
sarcastic
happy,
face.
but I mean, again, still, I mean, he's been showing that he has strong car and obviously
And
the
obviously
ability
he has the skills.
to drive and to do what he did, like you said, to have basically a backup car. I think to basically be leading the race with 4 laps to go.
His team
It's pretty
spent
impressive
his team spent 7 hours yesterday working on that car to
to
get it ready
where
to
it
run
was.
today. Mhm.
Well, he's got
Dang.
himself a really good team, so hopefully this sets him up well for the rest of the season.
Do you think somebody on the Fox team might have jinxed the scenario?
Yeah, let's talk
I know,
about that
Oh,
real quick.
We need to
boy.
listen to the audio part because there was a guest announcer today with Clint Boyer.
Who was that
and,
guest announcer?
And Mike Joy.
Danica Patrick, who just couldn't stop talking about other drivers.
Every time
And
she mentioned the
time-
driver.
Every time she would talk about someone, they would just magically spin out. And then she eventually stopped.
She even realized it herself. Towards the end of the race, she's like, "Oh, I better stop talking about drivers because they seem to not be doing well when they
Yeah.
don't do well when I talk about them."
We were joking at one point where some drivers like Chastain, we were just joking, thinking they were like, Danica, don't talk about me, please.
Yeah. So yeah, that I liked Danica. I thought I was going to like hearing her more. I wasn't as impressed, to be honest, with her announcing. I know she's done other things, but it just I don't know. I don't know if it was just nervousness or she was out of her element, but I didn't really feel like she added as much to it. But that was just me. And except for that, she kept saying every time she would mention the driver, then he'd have
then
problems.
they'd have problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I'd have to agree with you too. I miss Jeff Gordon.
yeah, I do. I miss Jeff Gordon.
I
You know,
think Jeff
actually-
Gordon and Clint Boyer had such great chemistry.
They did, but apparently not a lot of people liked Gordon in the booth.
Really?
Like, I liked them. I thought
thought
they were
they-
like things they did
I
together.
liked
were
I
them.
thought
fun.
their playful
Well,
banter was
remember,
a lot of fun. He
Jeff-
had a lot of insight and knowledge of what he was talking
But
about.
you got to also remember, Jeff Gordon's one of the more polarizing drivers in the sport. Always has been, and I mean, he's great. You cannot.
Still to the day he
I mean,
retired.
I think he's gotten more respect as like old school driver, but he's still a little polarizing. That's the only reason I would think people would have an issue. Because
Mhm.
honestly, I've seen him. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah,
I mean, like anything else he does. I mean, he prepared himself. Like that was actually that was kind of my thing with Danica, because I really wanted her to do well. Like I wanted her to do well, but I just didn't feel like she was as prepared. She kind of was just kind of winging it. Whereas Jeff Gordon, you knew, like, well, one, I mean, he was Jeff Gordon. He's much more connected with the Hendrick Motorsports operation and what was going on with that team and other teams. You just didn't feel like Danica was as connected. She was even asking things like about the new car and whether or
she's
not
asking like, "Oh, is this car a different setup with their seats?" Or
and it's like those are the kinds of things that you would prepare and do a little research.
But I don't know. To be honest, for me, Danica is like when it comes to her broadcasting skills. She was one of the broadcasters for the Indy 500 last year, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
along with Mike Tirico. And
But
just
I mean, I like Danica. I wanted her to do better on the track. I was happy that she won in IRL. She just couldn't do it in NASCAR. And I was surprised that she retired as early as she did. But anyway, but yeah, we'll see.
We'll see
NASCAR-
who's
yeah, who's
gonna
gonna be the
broadcast next week, because
next,
apparently we keep having new ones. It was Tony Stewart last week. It was Matt Kenseth.
Carl
and
Edwards?
This week,
That would
Danica
be
Patrick.
that'd be crazy. if
Carl
they bring
Edwards
Carl Edwards out.
apparently disappeared off the face of this planet because he won't even probably
Hey,
come
he's
back
enjoying
for
his retirement.
he won't even come back for anything.
I still believe there's going to be a weekend someday, and it's going to be huge, that he's going to come out maybe for one race or something. Maybe it's for a 500 or something.
We'll
like that.
summon him. We'll figure out how to get him back.
We'll get him back. All right. With that said, I think we've covered this race. We're going to talk about where NASCAR is going next week, and then we've got a special 6 degrees that Sebastian has prepared for us. Sebastian, where is NASCAR going next week?
Next week, NASCAR is going to the desert. Phoenix is the track, 500 miles of racing. And like any Phoenix race, it's definitely going to be interesting, especially with these new cars.
Yeah, it'll be the first time they've been back there since the championship weekend in November of last year. So, all right.
It's the Let's Go Racing Family Picks of the Week.
All right, as Sebastian said, NASCAR is heading to Phoenix. Sebastian, why don't you start? Who are you picking to win next week in Phoenix?
I'm going with an odd pick. He hasn't been doing good at all, especially he hasn't done good since like 2019, but he does have a track record of doing well at Phoenix. I'm going with the original champion of the new chase format, Kevin Harvick in the number 4.
Wow, that would be big for him to pull off that win. And he is due, definitely is due. Karen, who do you have winning next week in Phoenix?
So I think that I'm going to go with a track house driver. I'm going to go with the number 1 of Ross Chastain. He's been doing really well. The track house team has been doing really well, so maybe he can get the win this week.
Well, if they get a 3rd straight top 5, that would be very impressive. So I actually picked Daniel Suarez last week, didn't do so well. But going into next week in Phoenix, I'm going to pick the guy who I thought was going to win in Phoenix in November. I'm going with the number 11, Denny Hamlin.
Well, you know what? Sebastian made a good point that Kevin Harvick was the original winner of the chase format. But you know who else was in that Final Four?
Joey Logano.
Yes, sir. And he's also one of the only drivers to appear in every single but one playoff since then. And yeah, he's my pick, Joey Logano.
I would have picked Joey Logano had I not picked him for Vegas. So I think that's a really great choice.
So taking the bias out of it, it's actually a smart pick because
he's dominant, he's consistent, and he's fast.
And who won that race last year at this time?
Oh, I don't know. Joey Logano?
Joey Logano. So there you go. Well, as we mentioned, Johan isn't here, so he's going to have to make his race pick offline, and we'll have it updated. I have a feeling it'll probably be somebody from Team Hendrick, but we'll see what
Let's just say Chase Elliott for him.
Yeah, pretty sure that's who he lands with. All right, those are our race picks for Phoenix.
So, before we end off the episode, Sebastian actually has a special edition of 6 Degrees because we were in Vegas.
And now it's 6 Degrees of NASCAR, where Sebastian tries to connect someone in pop culture to NASCAR in less than 6 degrees of separation.
All right, take it away, Sebastian.
So for the first 6 degrees of the season, I wanted to do something very big. And a big movie just came out this weekend.
The Batman?
Yes, The Batman. Which me and Dad went to go see before the race, and it was spectacular. Like, it is a really good movie. It is up there, like, as one of DC's best. And for today, I'm going to try to connect the new Batman, Robert Pattinson, or Rob Battenbat, to NASCAR in less than 6 degrees of separation. So you guys may be wondering how I'm going to connect Robert Pattinson. Well, as you know, the man is the Batman, and in that film, he had encountered a lot of characters from DC Comics. You had the Riddler, the Penguin, Catwoman, but you also had the crime boss Carmine Falcone, who was a big role in the early years of Batman and even connects to his family's history. Well, in the movie, Carmine Falcone is played by John Turturro. And John Turturro, I know from the Transformers movies where he played Agent Seymour Simmons and featured in 4 out of the 5 movies. Well, the third film in the franchise, Transformers Dark of the Moon, featured 3 Transformers that based their appearances off of the race cars of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, and Juan Pablo Montoya. And that is how you connect Robert Pattinson to NASCAR in less than 6 degrees of separation.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, that was really cool. I like the connection via Transformers.
And I forgot about that, but that's right. Those 3 NASCAR cars played a big role in that Transformer film. So that was actually pretty cool. And you're right. The Batman movie surprised me. You know that Batman is my favorite superhero. And I wasn't ready for another Batman because I thought that the Christopher Nolan series was the best. This is a different Batman, and I really enjoyed it. So if you're interested in Batman, it's a unique story, and you actually will catch yourself wondering what's going to happen. So great movie, and I definitely think that's a pretty cool connection to NASCAR.
Did you guys like the movie as much as your favorite Batman movie? With,
I'm not
Christian
ready to.
Bale?
I'm not ready to say that. That to me is the ultimate Batman.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Well, he said it was. He said it was really, really good. So I didn't know if it was up to that level.
No, I don't know yet, but it would have been cool to see that Batmobile on the track, because when Batman Begins, if I remember correctly, they actually had the Batmobile or the Tumbler from the Christopher Nolan Batman as the pace car. And I think the weekend that came out was in Michigan back in 2000. When did the original Batman Begins movie come out?
2005.
So 2005, they had that car and they had Batman at the Michigan race.
You know what else you could have done?
That's really cool.
You could have used Batman, like the Batman v Superman car that Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Back in.
Yeah, that's right. So this is actually, you know what? Now that you say that, it's actually a little unusual that they didn't have a NASCAR connection.
Right. When did the movie come out? This weekend?
It literally came out this weekend. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that would have been awesome to see that as the pace car in Vegas.
So apparently Batman and NASCAR have a thing.
They do. They do. So, and how funny that the Batman car, I was going to say, that Dale Jr. drove the Batman car, and he's obviously one of my all-time favorite drivers. So very cool connection, Sebastian. I like that. I miss doing 6 degrees. We haven't done as much, so we'll have to make sure we bring a couple of more of those segments back this year.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this was an interesting episode, our first one without our little guy. And so I'm excited that he'll be back next week. And so anything else before we wrap this episode?
No.
All right. With that, Giovanni, why don't you take us out?
Well, that's going to wrap up this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening on in. Consider following all of our socials and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Anyway, Let's Go Racing Family out.